Hello everyone, this is Retro Tech Techs, and I'm going to take apart my Electra Wt 700C, which this unit we know is not properly working, so I'm kind of curious what the issue could be. More than likely, like I said before, it could be a faulty capacitor or capacitors, which is usually the common issue with these old walkie talkies, or it could even be a crystal oscillator. I really don't know how to repair vintage electronics, so I'm probably not going to be actually repairing this unit, but I am curious to see what it looks like on the inside and if there is any additional possible damage that may be causing issues. And then I got my Ross RE-999 series walkie talkie. I'm taking this apart mostly so I can fix the grill here, which has a small dent in it, which it just drives me nuts. So, and I am curious to see what the insides of this one look like as well. To my understanding, these seem to be built fairly similar, even though they're from two different types of companies. Like they both got the volume knob here on the front. They both got, I'm assuming, two speakers on each end, one for hearing and the buzzer, and one, of course, to talk into. Both have, got your call and your transfer button and a headphone jack. So I'm kind of curious to see what the internals look like, varying between two different companies and possibly two different years. This one, I believe, is a 1970s unit. This one, I'm not sure. It could be 68, 69, or it could be from the 70s. I honestly don't know. But it kind of has like that early 70s look to it. I mean, it could be maybe a 72 or something. I'm honestly not 100% sure. I really can't find much information on the internet about these walkie-talkies, or I would give you guys more historical information about these, but I can't find anything on them. So I'm going to take this one apart first, because I know this one, works, but this one I'm really interested in. So we're going to take him apart. So here on the back of the unit, we have 3 screws. And then, of course, you got your giant fly head for the battery cover. So I'm going to be careful with this. I don't want to damage the knob here. So let's go ahead and take off the back cover first. And this time I got an actual proper screwdriver instead of just a copper coin. So I don't know why I'm so attracted to these old walkie-talkies, but I don't know. Lately, I've just been very attracted to collecting these. I mean, it's just, to me, a kind of cool part of early communications history, I guess. I mean, nowadays, everyone has a smartphone in their pocket, but back then you had to go out and buy something like this just to talk to one of your friends from like across the street. Nowadays, we take smartphones for oh gosh dang, I'm trying to think of the word. For granted, yeah. We take communication technology for granted now, but back then these would have been, really cool as a kid to have, because you could like talk with your friend you could talk with your friend from across the street. Without racking up your parents' phone bill. Like, apparently my dad, when he was a kid, he racked up an $800, or when he was a teenager, my bad. He racked up an $800 phone bill on his parents.
Trying to cousin to talk to girls.
Yeah.
At Six Flags.
No, they met at
Six Flags.
Spring Break from the coast.
No, Six Flags.
Okay, whatever. It could have been Six Flags. I can't remember. Okay, then we got 2 additional screws here on the back that we gotta take care of. It's a good thing I took off the battery cover first, so I'm not So I'm not swapping my screwdriver heads so many times. But yeah, back then as a kid, I could see these being really, really cool. As an adult, they're just cool for the collecting sake. And it's just different from my generation. I mean, of course I had walkie-talkies and stuff when I was a kid, but, they're just cheap, plasticky, kind of boring.
Garbage.
Yeah, I wouldn't say garbage. I mean, they got the job done, but not great. Okay, so the headphone jack is definitely not letting me take this apart, so I'm going to have to... Oh, no, there it goes. Okay. And there go the screws. And we got the back cover off. That was actually a piece of felt on the grill back here. There you are. Come here, little guy. Alright, there's the insides of the walkie-talkie. Looks fairly clean. It's so funny with these old electronics. You just got wires just running everywhere. Like it's just like nowadays everything is on a properly designed circuit board, but back then they had to route wires to do all kinds of stuff. It's really crazy looking at vintage electronics, seeing just how far we've come. Okay. This one's definitely a lot more complex than some of my other units I have. So here we got these brass, I don't know if they'd be bearings or bushings. I think they'd be bushings with the screw holes in them. But these have to come off to take out the circuit board, which thankfully these you just lightly unscrew with your... Gotta be careful here between these two capacitors. You just lightly go in and unscrew these guys. Got two up here at the front. Man, I really wish we still had stuff manufactured in Japan, or I don't know, better yet, how about in the United States instead of China? Like, I really miss... I'm just at the point I'm just kind of tired of just Chinese electronics because they're just so cheaply made nowadays.
Well, you'll be lucky to have it for 5 years. I mean, look at these things. They've lived for what, 50 years?
Yeah. And here we have a plastic, like a stopper piece for the antenna, which this antenna is actually wired in, which is interesting. I haven't seen that yet on any of these. So that's new to me.
The others aren't wired in?
No, the last one's that just connected, the antenna connects to a metal plate. And on the other side, there's a wire on the main board. But it's not actually directly soldered to the antenna from the looks of this one. I think it might be.
The wiring the antenna directly in gives a better signal compared to just the metal plate. Be interesting to learn up a little bit on. You know, maybe just to see if they're like more expensive walkie-talkies, they're a little higher quality or something.
Yeah. The screw is not wanting to come out. Come on.
It's not stripped, is it?
No, it's not stripped. It's just not wanting to come out. Come on, dude. He ain't want to come out. There he goes. Okay, good. There's another screw here. So this is a pretty grounded in antenna. Oh, the antenna snapped out. Okay, so I may not have to unscrew that screw. Okay. So the antenna is... Ugh, I might actually have to, I don't know if this... Oh yeah, that's part of the chrome right here. So I wonder if this piece, this screws off. No, I don't feel like giving. I'm scared I don't want to break these antennas. You know, you can't really find replacements for these anymore. All right, so let's see if this board will come out now. Oop, it's not wanting to come out, so there might be some screws somewhere here on the board that I need to... No, I don't see any. Should... Oh, no, he's coming out. Make sure there's nothing else. The antenna seems to be holding everything in, but I can't seem to... So I really don't want to force any... I don't want to put any stress or force on the antenna. So I really do not want to break the antenna on this whatsoever.
That's the one thing about those old antennas, they're really fragile.
Yeah, they're very fragile. Seems like the only way to get into this one is you have to desolder the antenna off the board to get it out, unfortunately, which I really do not want to do. I mean, it's an easy resolder, but it shouldn't. Ah, okay. Looks like the circuit board might just kind of come out without having to remove the antenna. Maybe.
You know, maybe one thing you could do too is
well, crap.
See if anyone on YouTube can kind of help you on finding capacitors that may work for those walkie-talkies.
Oh, you know what? It actually might be the knob here. Let's see if this come off. I don't want to. There we go. Okay. Just popped our volume knob off here. It has a nice piece of felt on the other side, which is kind of nice. So that should keep, you know, kind of keep it clean from dust and everything. All right, now circuit board comes right out. Okay, nice. So I don't have to remove the antenna. So I guess I can probably screw this back down. Like I said, I don't have any intentions of removing the antenna on this. Like I said, I kind of just want to see what the insides look like more than anything. So let's get this guy screwed back down. Back in place. No, you're not. You're not going in. Yeah, see, this is why I don't really like to work on old stuff. Or electronics in general. I'm not that great at it. But I do love seeing how things work. But a repairman, I am not much of. Come on, little guy. Go back in. You're making a fool of me on YouTube. You can't get one screw in. Yeah, I might got a screw. Probably got a few screws loose.
Why don't you want to go home, Screw? You're too good for your home.
Why don't you want to go home? Gosh dang, you just will not lock back into this little spot. Come on. Come on, little guy, go in.
Is that what she said?
There we go. Okay, nice and tight there. Nice and tight there.
Nice and tight.
Alright, creepy. Exorted. By the way, that's my brother on the other side talking. He's just here to annoy me. Okay, so yeah, unfortunately, there's so much stuff wired in. But let's see if I can gently. Like I said, I don't really want to take these apart. It's just so crazy looking at these old boards, because nowadays you got robots, you know, that solder all of these boards together. But back then, these had to all be hand done. So you can definitely see that, like, these old boards are kind of messy looking. I mean, it's really crazy to see how far circuit electronics have come in just roughly 50 years. Let's see if I can gently pull that back around. And I'm going to get a quick look in here so I can see everything, because I got poor vision. And none of the capacitors look like they've exploded. None look like they're really bulging.
Could just be that they're worn out.
Yeah, it could be that the capacitors are just worn out on this unit, which is very, very plausible. Or like I said, the crystal might be messed up. But yet again, what makes me think that it's more of a capacitor issue is that the speaker isn't making much sound. Like, I have a few other walkie-talkies that make sound, even though the capacitors are failed, like, can't transmit signals well. So on those units, I'm assuming it might be the crystal that's malfunctioned, or it could be a combination of the crystal and the capacitors.
Yeah, because on that one,
this unit, I think it's possibly mostly the capacitors that are failing, which we got one here. Got one here. My phone will focus. We got one here. These I don't think are capacitors. If anyone could tell me actually what these are, I mean, they could be a form of capacitor. I don't honestly know, but they don't look like normal capacitors. But I don't think these are actually capacitors. They just look very similar to a capacitor. But yeah, it's really clean looking on the inside. But yeah, okay, so that wax paper here, yeah, it looks like it's probably meant to kind of keep stuff from possibly maybe shorting each other. Because like I said, I've never seen a wired antenna. So, and this piece of wax paper here is protecting other electronics, I guess, from this solder connection here. But yeah, pretty cool. One thing that stinks about these walkie-talkies from the looks of it, like I said, I don't think this piece screws off. I don't know if these somehow boost the signal or if it's just for decoration, but it sucks that these don't screw off. Like the top parts screw off of this unit, because if this breaks off, there's no replacing this antenna unless you buy another pair of these walkie-talkies that are, you know, repairs or being sold for parts, or you just take a brand new one and just rip the antenna out, put it in a new one or whatever. So like I said, that's the sad thing with these old electronics. It's certain parts are just really hard to get a hand on. So like I've said before, if worse comes to worse, these will make really cool Bluetooth looking speakers. Okay, so this is that one. So instead of me just putting it all back together on camera, I'm going to now try and take a look at this guy here. So yet again, same thing. We got 3 screws. We got 2 here, 1 here, and there's possibly going to be more under the battery cover. So let's go ahead and take the battery cover off first. Like I said, I actually got a screwdriver this time. The only thing, I like flatheads because they don't strip, but the only thing I don't like about them is that happens. They slip. Alright, let's remove the battery terminal. I don't see
Honestly, the best ones are like the
any screws here. We got a speaker there, which is actually interesting. With let me pull this guy back for a sec. This one I thought there was going to be 2 speakers, but I guess there's not. So I guess
would it be 2 speakers or a speaker and a receiver? Wouldn't that technically be correct? A speaker and a receiver?
No, the receiver is the what the crystals are supposed to do. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised there's no 2 speakers on this one. You know, one thing I'm actually curious with these are like where is the microphone on these actually? I mean, they gotta have a microphone in them, don't they, to like pick up the signal from your voice? But there's like no microphones on them. So if you're someone who knows more about walkie-talkies and can tell me, I would love to know if there is a type of microphone in these that I'm just not seeing. Because I don't see anything that resembles a microphone in here. So I'm actually kind of curious how these pick up your voice. I don't know if possibly maybe your voice vibrates off of the cone inside the speaker, but I don't think that's exactly how those work. But if anyone could tell me that, that would be honestly pretty helpful information, because I don't know much about walkie-talkies. I just find them interesting. So
maybe it works like how the early phones were, where you had a diaphragm that vibrated.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, if the speaker cone, when you speak into it, it vibrates. But I don't know.
Yeah, that's how they used to cut records. You had a little needle on a diaphragm, so when the sound or the music frequency would vibrate against that diaphragm, it would cut the groove into your record.
Yeah.
So that's probably how those work too. It's probably a membrane that vibrates.
Make sure this is... Okay, this one's actually missing its screws here. Nice to know. So I already know this guy's gotten into before, because I have not yet taken this apart. So it's missing 2 screws. Is the other one missing its screws? Nope, this one has screws.
Well, is that the one that looks like it was cut and refixed?
No, different walkie.
Okay.
But this one is missing its screws, which I don't think I got any that might replace that.
What happened to your box of little micro screws that might work?
I honestly don't know. I don't see any other screws in here. I don't think. It's gonna, see, I don't like this wire on external terminal. Like, it's just annoying. To be completely honest. Okay, I think it's stuck on the headphone jack. You guys are on the same journey with me. Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay. We got 2 screws here on the bottom. That's the problem. Which I hope I can open because they look like they've been stripped. Great. Wonderful. Wonderful, 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 wonderful.
Yeah, last thing you want to try and do is drill them out.
Oh, you can't drill them out on this old plastic. It'd probably break the plastic.
Well, I'm talking about when you drill out the top of the screw.
Hopefully this old guy can get these out, I hope.
Well, I don't understand why they don't use the triangle, their hex head, or...
See, I like those, yeah, because they don't strip easy. And they're... Okay, so they're coming out. That's good. Okay.
I never understood the Phillips screw heads. Those were the worst.
I don't either. I honestly hate them. I wish we used like the star head and stuff, like what they use more in
I think screw companies just found a cheap screw head.
There we go.
To produce to where they can sell the more effective screw heads for much more money, even though they're all just pressed in there during the process of making the
that's possible.
screws.
I honestly didn't put it past. Wow, this one is busy. This one has so much stuff in it. Like, ooh, Lord. Repairing this would be an absolute nightmare. I've never seen one of these this complex. Like, look at that. That is very, very complex. And this one, actually, you see 2 crystals. That's nice. The other ones I've taken apart, I only have seen 1. I mean, it's really clean looking. It just looks like it'd be awful to fix. But like, good. I'm kind of curious what the other side of the board looks like if I can figure out how to get into it. So we got your speaker here, which is a Pioneer, which is what I've seen in a lot of these. It's a Pioneer. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. No, right way. Y'all get a nice glimpse of my head here, fellas. Okay, so this is an 8 ohm, 0.1 watt speaker, which is pretty much the norm. Oh, and it has 2. So yeah, this one has 2 speakers. See, this other one is, yeah, even a Pioneer. They're upside down from each other, which is interesting. This is a 8 ohm, 0.1 watt. Okay, so they seem to be the exact same speaker. So yeah, those same speakers, made in Japan. Okay, and yet again, like the other one, you got your brass bearings that you have to remove here, which thankfully these come out pretty easily. These guys are just like here, over here in this case, so I don't get them mixed up with the other ones. Man, this is so crazy how busy this is compared. I might actually need a flathead for getting into these, because they're so, this board is so compact, it's kind of hard to get your fingers in there. Okay. Ooh, these don't, never mind, these do not have a flathead. Are you kidding me? Come on. That's annoying. No, these didn't either. So I've taken apart some walkie-talkies, and these have like little flatheads cut into them, so you can actually take a flathead screwdriver and get into it. But no, I guess these ones are like, hey, just hand thread it in. Thanks, guys. That helps when the whole board is heavily populated. One thing I've always like found like really cool about circuitry in general, like it doesn't matter if it's new, old, they always look like little cities. Like, for some weird reason, I just like imagine like little electric people just running around a circuit board for some weird reason. I don't know why, but these always look like little cities.
Well, you ever seen those guys who actually take old circuitry and then build them into like famous monuments or even little cities? Super cool.
I have seen that, and it is pretty cool. Oh wow, this has, I think, a mini tube.
I think it was actually a guy
Now, what is this?
in Brazil who was doing that because they have
Just
so
hit
much
my head. Just
old
hit the camera.
technology.
So I don't know if this is like a little, like some kind of micro tube right here. I'm not honestly sure, but it looks like it could be possibly a tube. Maybe not. It could be a fuse of some type. But if anyone knows what this could possibly be, please let me know in the comments, because I've never seen that before. That's kind of cool. Okay, so we got a screw here. I don't see any other screws. I think that might be everything. This board, yeah, I think we just got one more screw here. Yeah, right here. You got this little guy. Let's get him out. Come on. Come on out. No, the button just fell out. Alright, come here. Alright, let's see if these come out. This board comes out. Let's see, this board is very complex. Okay, so there's some like white junk on the board. I don't know if that's something could possibly be leaking or what, which kind of frightens me, to be honest.
That's what I'd probably figure. One of the resistors are leaking.
Now these ones work.
Oh, okay. But then
It doesn't
kind of have problems though.
Well, it's not like a chalky. It's more like a.
Because isn't it an acid that's in the resistors?
I think it is to some degree. I'm not actually 100% sure what actually makes up a resistor. I know it's supposed to. It's like chalky though when it breaks out.
Mm.
Okay, this board is not wanting to come out, so I'm trying to look, guys. Sorry, you're seeing the top of my head. Yeah, this is the Look at My Head Walkie Talkie channel. Yeah, this is quality. This is quality YouTube here, fellas. Hey, everyone, ladies, y'all are watching. And this board does not want to come loose. Why do you not want to come out? You know, I'm an idiot. Maybe the reason this board, yet again like the other one, don't want to come out is maybe because you left the dial knob on. You know, these things always stop me. I hate taking these off. These are always never fun.
Doing it wrong with
there we
Retro
go.
Tech.
Yeah, doing it wrong with Retro Techs. Okay, now the board should come loose.
Maybe you should name the channel "This is what you do not do with."
Yeah, this is what
vintage
not
technology.
to do with vintage electronics. Take it from this idiot. This is what not to do if you actually care about preserving vintage technology. There's your button coming out again, and yeah, we got two units here. And let's see if I can gently, like I said, I don't want to unsolder anything because. So I might have to pick this whole guy up. But, oh my lord, I can't imagine the workers who had to solder all of this. Like, yikes. That is a lot. That is a lot.
I'm surprised it's messy being Japanese. They always.
Well, I mean, it's all hand soldering. Hand soldering, it's
Well, I
hard to
know,
get
but the
perfect.
Japanese
Plus, I mean, being
always-
in a factory, you know, they got to work fast enough to get these out back then. So I can kind of understand it.
Just the Japanese are always so.
Yeah, but it's a mass manufactured line. You know, they got to get stuff out. And I mean, as long as it works, you know, who cares? You know, most people, they probably think most people aren't going to take this stuff apart. You know, they're just going to it breaks, throw it away. But yeah, that's pretty much it's a pretty big difference.
Yeah, but you also don't want sloppy wire work in your.
It's not, it's just, I mean, it's all hand done. I mean, I'm not perfect at this stuff either. So it's crazy looking at the inside of both of these. I mean, look at how bare this board is compared to this one. Like, this is very complex.
Now, these two different year models?
Well, they're two different year models, more than likely. But this unit here, the Rose, or the Ross, I don't know why I keep calling them Rose. The Ross RE-999 is this definitely had to be a more expensive walkie-talkie back in the day. Like, this has so many more additional components. I mean, these were definitely your higher end. This is probably, I'm not sure if it could have been your mid-range or your high-range walkie-talkie. This was probably more your low to mid-range, I'm assuming.
Well, could it also be the technological difference of the different years?
No, it's just, this unit's just a better made unit.
Okay. The one with all the wires, or the one with...
Well, usually, like, this one has more transistors, more components. Usually, you know, if you got more
the better
capacitors and other things in here, usually it makes the signal cleaner. It could maybe transmit a wider signal. I mean, yeah, a part of it can be technical advantages or advancements, allowing things to be less and less and smaller like they are now. But I don't think these two are too far enough in year gap, at least from my assumption. Like I said, I don't know what year this unit is from. This one, like I said, the seller said was in 1970, so possibly, you know, I gotta take what the seller, I gotta take the seller's word that this is from 1970. This one, I don't know. Yeah. But it has to be around the same period.
If anyone has any more information on these
brands, if anyone has any more information on these, please let me know, because I really want to learn about these old units. I just don't know.
Maybe really, like the year model, maybe a little bit on the history of that company. If anyone else has any information on them, since you can't find any of it on.
Yeah, it's actually pretty crazy how sparse information is on these on the internet, even though the internet has everything. Apparently, it doesn't have anything about vintage walkie-talkies I can find. Nothing. Yeah, you got both. You got both your transistors here.
Maybe there's just not enough.
The capacitors in here are huge.
Not enough people interested in it to pass.
Well, that's too. Like, I'm like part of the one insane, crazy person who's like, hey, cool, I want to collect vintage walkie-talkies. Ooh, this antenna. Oh no, this is some. Ooh, you know, there's a bit of rust in this one. Yeah, there's rust in this guy.
Nothing a little bit of steel wool wouldn't take care of.
I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Well, so I'm going to get these put back together, and I'm going to make a separate video since this one is going on so long. But I'm going to have a follow-up to these two where I'm going to test the ranges on these and see if this other one, which actually does turn on, see if it talks with this walkie-talkie, because this one works. Both of these work, thankfully. Both of these work. This one does not work, unfortunately. So I'm going to make another video, follow up to this one, talking between these two. And in that video, it would be my very first response to know if this actually works. I have not tested this. So I think it'd be kind of cool to have a video where I test it with you guys. So, well, it has been, this has been Retro Tech Techs. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I know this one's pretty long, but you know, it's just how things go. But all you have a great day, and God bless. Hope to